And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you standing by here for a second. And as I mentioned earlier, we've got some heavy hitters here today. And we're going to start off with no other than the owner and founder of KC Varsity Combines, Mr. Wayne Orr.
Thank you very much. Great introduction.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, I appreciate you stopping by, being one of our first in-person interviews. It means a lot that you come by and do that for us.
Absolutely. We're going to talk football all day long.
Absolutely. So you have a few sessions here coming up with the your 13th revision of KC Varsity Combines. You can find April 26th at St. Pius, May 13th in St. Louis, and back in Kansas City, May 10th again at St. Pius. Now, Coach, last year you ran an event specifically for North Kansas City kids, but there's some special news that you kind of have this year relative to that area. What would that be?
Yeah. So last year we did the KCPS, KCK, PS athletes. It was specific just for them. And we've gotten together with KPRS, the radio station, and FCA, the Fellowship Christian Athletes, and we are allowing KCPS and KCKPS athletes in for free. They just need to reach out to their high school coaches. They have special discount codes, and they'll participate just like anybody else, and nobody knows there's any difference.
That's awesome. What an opportunity for those kids.
It's a fantastic opportunity. We've tried for the last couple of years to make it work, and this will be the first year that we've actually allowed them at ours to compete just like everybody else does.
Absolutely. And that's also got to be a selling point for those coaches. It's kind of a new flavor coming into the combine circuit this year.
Yes. That's part of the reason why the college coaches come is because we give them an opportunity to see 300, 350 athletes at each one.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, you guys are heading into your 13th year. That's not easy to do, to have a program that has that type of longevity. What do you think has been key to keeping your combines so successful throughout the decade?
Building relationships, obviously. The first thing it does is it takes the belief into the high school coaches to believe that what we are doing is the right thing to do every single time. It was a struggle.
I'm sure.
Right. Just like anybody else, I would have coaches that would not send their kids. I invite those coaches just to come visit during one of ours, just so they understood that what we were doing was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And for the first 9 years, we took no money out of the company. We reinvested every single dime. That's why we have all electronic equipment. We get hired by all the colleges in the Midwest to go do their camps because we have all the equipment.
Man, 9 years without taking a penny out of
it. Yeah.
That's got to mean that you just love what you're doing there, right?
Or I'm not smart, one of the two. Yeah, there's something there. Yeah.
So for an athlete who's never been to a KC Varsity Combine event, what is something that they can expect, and why is it that your event stands out from the rest other than the reputation you built over the years?
And I talk about this all the time. It's not me. It's not KC Varsity Combines. We're ran by high school coaches, college coaches, ex-NFL players. Those are the guys that actually study positional drills to make sure that you look your best in front of those college coaches, right? I'm just the ringleader. I just kind of promote it and get it all together. But it's the high school coaches that I've had 8 or 10 guys that's been with me since year one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's some loyalty.
There's some love there for sure. And it's progressed, right? Year one, we're getting ready to get started, and I'm looking in the stands to recognize a dad. I'm like, hey, can you run a stopwatch? Right. And so it's evolved from that to where we're at now, to where everything's verified, electronic, tested, and it just keeps growing.
And it's a well-run, program too.
Thank you.
It gets done quickly, and you get a lot out of it too.
It's organized chaos is what we call it. We get a lot done in 5 hours for sure.
So college coaches are always on the lookout, though. What do you have to do really good at your event to get recognized and remembered?
So first and foremost, you have to pass the eye test. The reason why those college coaches have all the film on you. They have all the film on everybody. They can watch all the film, but what they want to see is when you walk up, they want to shake your hand. They want to feel your grip. They want to touch the back of your arm to make sure you're in the weight room. Because if you're not in the weight room, who's the next guy,
Yeah, exactly.
right? I mean, the first thing
Yeah.
is they're looking at you, right? Part of the thing that we do is we do height, weight, wingspan, and hand size. In years past, we allowed the kids to fill out their card, and of course, they were 6'1", and it comes down to it, they're 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah, you see it on X all the time too. They're
It's
just
horrible,
lying.
right? And so, college coaches asked a couple years ago, said, "Is there any way you can verify height, weight, wingspan, and hand size?" So we did it, right? We're trying to give the college coaches every single bit of information from you that they could possibly need
In a verified, trusted.
in a verified, trusted format.
Absolutely.
And that's why those college coaches keep coming.
Yeah.
Because they know if we're going to tell you that he's a 4'9" kid, he's a 4'9" kid in the 40, right?
It's worth their time.
It is.
Yeah. So, you've built that reputation as a respected combine in the region. How do you ensure that every athlete, regardless of, their experience or capability, gets an opportunity to be seen at the end of the day?
Yeah, and so that's tough sometimes. And again, it goes back on our coaches. We have many Zoom meetings where we talk about make sure there's lines for every position and make sure everybody's getting through. Now, there are times when we get to the linemen, there's some dogs and there's some guys that just don't want to be out there just yet, right? And so they kind of hide out in the back, and we try to move them up to the front, but also in the same sense, if that kid's uncomfortable, we're not going to force him
100%.
to take a rep that he doesn't want to take.
Yeah.
So it's a fine line, but we make sure, and you've been there before, those kids are exhausted when they leave.
100%.
Everybody gets enough reps. Anybody that needs reps can get as many reps as possible.
Absolutely. And those dogs that you talked about, I remember a few of them, especially from last year. They literally don't come out of those.
You gotta push them out, and that's why it's really important for us to keep lines. I go to camps all the time just to see if I can pick up on something, and that's the number one thing I see is kids not getting enough reps, or kids cutting lines all the time, and we don't tolerate that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty particular about that.
So that's a point to you guys here. If you're going to one of these events, don't be afraid to get in there. You need the reps, you need the experience, you need the opportunity. Okay. So Wayne, one last question here. Looking ahead to this year's event, what is the big thing that you're most excited for? I've heard there's some big news happening this year.
There is. We've done, obviously, we've already made the announcement about the KCPS and KCK kids. We are switching from the 40 to the 10-yard fly. Pretty simple. You're going to get a 20-yard run, and you're going to go through 2 gates, and you're going to go as fast as you can between those 2 gates. Super easy. The college coaches now are asking about miles per hour, and this is how we get that information.
Yeah.
The big news is it's been asked for a few years, and we toyed with it. So we finally decided to make the move. If you're a lineman, O-line, D-line, you got to bring your helmet and shoulder pads, practice jersey. We're going at it like big dogs.
That's awesome.
We're bringing it. We're probably the only private camp I know in the Midwest and maybe all of the United States that is doing padded for the linemen this year.
I can tell you for sure that I have looked around for a camp to send Warwick to, that's padded for O linemen. I don't necessarily like a non-padded one-on-one drills.
Right.
You guys are the only ones I found.
You can do it. I know there's a lot of college camps that do it, right? And those colleges will suit them out. But there's not that many of those either.
No.
So we'll see.
Insurance is expensive, apparently.
It is. So yeah, trying to explain an insurance agent who's not a non-football guy that putting these pads on is beneficial. He doesn't understand that because he thinks everything's full contact. We're getting there.
Yeah. No,
it's just an added expense, right?
100%.
I mean, it's.
Well, I can tell you that there's a lot of linemen out there that are pumped to hear this news.
Yes, I've gotten plenty of DMs about the linemen telling me how they're going to go home with we do a heavyweight belt for the King of the Hill, and so a lot of people's names are on it. We'll see who shows up and who shows out, but we'll see.
I know. Well, I'm excited. As I said earlier, though, you guys can catch Wayne at KC Varsity Combine in 3 different areas. April 26th at St. Pius, May 3rd in St. Louis, and May 10th back at St. Pius. So, Mr. Orr, I appreciate you stopping by, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for everything, Cole.
Yep. We'll see you in a bit.